Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Order Up, the Final Order Cutoff Show. Today, we're going to be talking about comics that are on Final Order Cutoff this Monday, March 16th. And, well, it doesn't have the widest range of comics it traditionally has on FOC. It has some incredibly important ones. And one of them, we're going to have the incredible writer of, as well as some other amazing guests. So you're not going to want to miss out on this episode. Stay tuned after this opener for a great show. Hi everyone, I'm Mathias Lewis, and I'm here to talk to you about FOC, or Final Order Cutoff. It is the last chance that we, the comic retailers, have to finalize our orders for comics releasing roughly 3 to 6 weeks out from the Mondays we finalize our orders. We deal with this every Monday, but this is important to you, the consumer, because it is the perfect time to reach out to your local comic shop if you want any specific or guaranteed items. If you want the Jim Lee or Dan Mora covers of Justice League Unlimited, reach out to your local comic shop and let us know. If you want the new issue of Lilo and Stitch, this is the perfect time to tell us. Because as long as you can get us the orders before Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that will give your local comic shop retailer enough time to finalize that order, adding in whatever it is you want, so they can guarantee when it releases, we have a copy set aside waiting for you. So, always reach out to your local comic shop before 6 p.m. on Mondays with the comics you want. The sooner, the better, to guarantee they're waiting for you. All right, and this week we're talking about comics that are on Final Order Cutoff Monday, March 16th, 2026. Now, I don't have my traditional Kyle with me, but instead I have my favorite producer, the wonderful Jay.
Hey, Mathias, how's it doing?
Doing good.
As always, man.
Always a pleasure. But I will say, not only do I have Jay, I have an amazing co-host on this week's show, the director of purchasing for Coliseum of Comics, one of the biggest comic shops in the United States, Billy Flakes.
Hey, wait, did you pluralize my name?
I did. You know what? You're not just one flake. You're all the flakes.
I'm all the flake. I'm a collective of flakes.
Billy Flake. There we go. So how are you doing today, Billy?
I'm doing awesome. I'm really excited to be on the show. I'm excited to talk about FOC. As you mentioned, I'm the director of purchasing, so this is what I do for a living. I talk about comics, so getting to talk to your audience is going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I gotta say, one of the big things that I'm excited to have Billy on as a co-host is he does a weekly set of notes for retailers so they know how best to place orders for comics that are on Final Order Cutoff. So he's very top tier on this, and I just get to be a small piece in the shadow.
Listen, I don't have the fancy YouTube show. I just sit in front of Excel sheets and Word documents all day.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to going over FOC with you because we have a number of great books to talk about. And just so everyone knows what's on FOC this Monday, we need to show them the 2 key websites that they can go to see all of the items on FOC. So, the big one, if you are a fan of Marvel, IDW, Dark Horse, Distillery, Boom Studios, Ignition Press, Kodansha, Square Enix, 7 Seas, and more, those are all distributed through Penguin Random House. So the best place to find all of them is on prhcomics.com, which we'll bring on screen right now. Here you can easily see they are very aware of how important FOC is. They place it right there, front and center with the date. You can click that, and by clicking on it, it will bring you to this wonderful section of all the books that are on FOC this Monday. We always recommend sorting it A to Z just to make it a little bit easier than random. Now, if you're a fan of DC, Oni, Image Comics, Dynamite, and so many others, Those are going to be distributed very easily through lunardistribution.com, one of the best websites to see all of those items on FOC. So go to lunardistribution.com, and there you have to scroll down a small hair to upcoming FOC. Make sure you're on the right date, and you'll be able to see all of those offerings on FOC this Monday. Now, we're going to talk about some of the highlights, some of the big books, new series, hot covers, etc. But if you want to see everything, take a look at those websites and get an order to your local comic shop. The sooner the better. But we got one last thing. Before we dive in, I think we want to talk to two amazing guests who are waiting to chat with us. We have an ultra-talented comic writer who has done some of my favorite work from DC, who has done some of the most brilliant work at Valiant, and now he is full of bad ideas. The incredible Joshua Dysart. And to accompany him, the queen of bad ideas, the head of sales over at Bad Idea, Siena Fallon.
Howdy, howdy.
You're the queen.
I don't think so. I think I've missed my own coronation. But thank you so much for having me on the show.
Dinesh?
I think Dinesh is the king and the queen of Bad Idea.
I think so.
Dinesh is the queen of Valiant.
Yes. I'm more of a knight. I'd like to be a knight. I think that's what I always wanted to be as a kid, is a knight. So
there we go. Sir Siena.
Bad Idea has my sword. Josh has my sword.
Yes.
All right, guys. So you guys have a lot of incredible comics coming up over the next few months, not just on FOC, but on stands. This is the year of Bad Idea, isn't it?
I missed the question.
This is the year of Bad Idea.
This is the year of Bad Idea. Yes, it is. It is. I heard a dirty rumor that it was the year of the snake, but no, it is the year of Bad Idea, and I'm gonna say that every year.
I love it. Well, let's hope that it maintains year after year. Because so far, Bad Idea, since its creation several years ago, has released some of the absolute best written and drawn comics in the industry. And while they've had some crazy tales of marketing and, hoops you have to jump through, I stand by that they are some of the best comics. One of my favorite ones from the very first run of Bad Idea was the end cap that Joshua here wrote, Odin's Eye. Now, Josh is back. What is this new project you're bringing to FOC this Monday?
Yeah, so we have a book called The Hab coming out. It's going to be 5 issues. I should say right on the jump, it's completely done, and it will come out. Like, it's ready to drop on time. The Hab is about a billionaire and his immediate family and immediate staff who survive the end of the world. There's been a full-scale nuclear exchange, and they've retreated to their extremely high-tech $40 billion underground bunker where they intend to live for at least a generation and before they can repopulate the planet. And what they discover is there's something waiting for them in the Hab that's far more terrifying than even in the human-ravaged world on the surface. So my basic quick tagline for this is, what if everyone you ever hurt was waiting for you in the last safe place on Earth? And that really only is the first issue. So it's a really big, dense, interesting, character-driven horror story that taps into a lot of the stuff I loved as a kid. So it was a big, ambitious book for me. I wrote it. It was my pandemic book. You know how every writer, every artist made something in the pandemic that, one, because there was nothing else to do, and two, it somehow was expressing what they were going through. This is that for me. So it's finally seeing the light of day.
Well, and I love that we're in this almost cathartic feeling of, putting billionaires in their place recently. Everything from Mark Russell's Billionaire Island to Patrick Horvath's Free for All. But we were discussing a little bit before the show, this isn't the same just traditional billionaire torture that some of us want. This is more than that.
I think that you will get your fair share of billionaire torture here. I think don't if you're coming to see techno billionaires and techno fiefdoms be tortured, I think this is the place for it. But also, I do think it is about something else, or at least it doesn't take the same attack on it, I think, that others have. I mean, I don't know. I don't mean to. I'm obviously we're here promoting, and I'm gonna say grand things about it, but I do think it's a little bit more interesting because I have something really to say about nature and about our inability to outrun it. So I think it's interesting. I like to think it's pretty complex. I like to think I'm a complex writer, but that's just what I tell myself to,
Oh man, I mean, Josh, you've smashed so much into this, like body horror, contained horror. Like this is such a big, like you said, big dense book that has, I feel like, something for everyone in it.
I like that. There's something for everyone. There's body horror.
There's body horror, psychological horror.
There's psychological. It's something for everyone.
This is all the different types of horror. If you're a horror fan, this has everything in it. I mean, from like Junji Ito influences to, and then we haven't even mentioned the artists. You're seeing them on the page right now, like David Lapham, creator of Stray Bullets, Bill Sienkiewicz, New Mutants,
doing interiors,
on interiors, and Jacob Phillips on issue 1 from Enfield Gang Massacre, that Texas Blood. Like the crew accompanying you on this journey, Josh, is amazing.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead, y'all.
I was just gonna say that's a murderer's row of talent working on the interiors of this book. Like, how does that happen? How do you get Bill Sienkiewicz and the creator of Stray Bullets and?
Oh, I mean, you just have you just have extraordinary people at your publisher just making it happen. I mean, I also want to say that but before we really give the appropriate praise to the editorial team, of which, to be frank, is sort of everyone at Bad Idea. But like also having these amazing artists, like especially somebody like Sienkiewicz, who hasn't done interiors in a long time, they're working on top of they're doing their own work, but they are working on top of Dave Lapham's visual storytelling sensibilities. So there's something so unique about that and fresh and interesting. So you get to see these people working, but also David is really sort of like making sure there's a narrative continuity through it all. And there are reasons for having different artists. I mean, it's something we planned, from the very beginning. I like that. If you guys remember, if anyone read my Valiant runs, you'll remember that I was always like figuring out story ways to have multiple artists working in conversation with each other in the same issues or the same storylines. So I'm a big fan of that. But this is like, 15 years later, I finally nailed something I've been trying to do, all this time. So yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. And I mean, oh wait, there we go.
What is that?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think that might be a question. Is that the vibe, Josh? Is it?
Oh, that's a question for me. Even the wealthy of us can't predict what's next, though they're arrogant enough to think. Yeah, I do think that is the vibe. Yeah, precisely. I think it's kind of like, because we have a little bit more time here, we're in this era where these scions of society, for lack of a better term, are these like billionaires. We're going to go to Mars. We have to get off world. We're going to go to Mars. All this money they have, they're not looking at systemic, long-term, sustainable change for the world, right? They're not investing in things that we know will work to make our society better. What they're doing is prepping for the end that they themselves have, at the very least, expedited, and at the very worst, actually caused, right? So that's sort of the vibe here. Is like, we're in this situation where more and more wealth has been congregated amongst fewer and fewer people, and those people are terrible human beings. And they're literally, we know for a fact, we discussed this kind of before we went live, but we've got these, I don't mean to bark on the Epstein files, but we literally have emails in the Epstein files where Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein are discussing how to collapse democracy, and that's where the famous Bannon phrase, if you want to compromise the media, you flood the zone with shit, and where they hyper normalize, where you don't know what's real and what's not. That's what they're using their resources for. Facebook during the pandemic waited angry posts and posts of negativity 7 times more than they weighted posts of positivity, posts of you like posting pictures of your family. That's what they're investing their time, their money into. So while they destabilize society and destroy us, they're preparing themselves to be safe, or they're coming up with outlandish science fiction concepts that they, like we're going to colonize Mars in enough time that that instead of like investing in community and like renewable energies and all these things that we know could help us through this dire strait that we're dealing with here as a species and also as a world, and that is kind of what this is about. We've never really locked into this because Siena and I have been on this marketing campaign where we're like, we have to find really terse, quick ways to express what the book is about. But really, that's what the book is about. How dare these people who have essentially robbed the wealth of the world and put it into their own coffers, and now they're protecting themselves, and that is a futile thing because we're all in this together, whether you think you're in it with us or not. And things are, there's not a safe place on earth, right? Exactly. So yes, that to the question, that's my long yes. That is the kind of thing this book is.
All right, well, let's take a deep dive into the HAB then, and let's start with the HAB itself.
Is that too much?
You're dead on. So, all right, obviously they're investing in taking care of themselves, and one of those things is the HAB itself. Can you describe what the HAB is, where our story takes place?
Yeah, so the HAB is a $40 billion super high-tech underground facility whose location was chosen because of a subglacial lake that was discovered deep underground. That is on par with the purest, cleanest water in the world and will remain uncorrupted in a full-scale societal collapse, especially one in which nuclear explosions occur all over the world. So this billionaire Tuttle, he with his vast resources and teams, they discovered this water source several years prior, about 10 years prior to the end of the world. And I want to say, it's not that Tuttle is a genius and foresees the end of the world. It's like it's pretty obvious societal collapse is coming by the time they start construction on this HAB. And we touch on that very slightly in the book. Like there's flashbacks. That's what a lot of the, when we have Sienkiewicz and all these other artists, we're flashing back to before the end of the world. And you learn that it's pretty painfully obvious that, what do they call it in bees, right? They call it a colony collapse disorder. It's pretty obvious that colony collapse disorder is happening to humanity. So instead of exploiting this clean water resource for profit, he decides to build a place that he and his immediate loved ones and his necessary staff can live in when this colony collapse disorder reaches its full expression, right? Which is the end of humanity, or at least the end of society. So that's the HAB. And working with David, who I believe is one of the very best visual storytellers in comics, but also, I should say, one of the best actual storytellers. Like just as a writer, I've never worked with an artist who was such a good writer before, which is immensely helpful as well. But he made the HAB into a real substantial character. Like the scripts work to make sure that the HAB has its own kind of identity and sense of place, but David really knocked it out of the park. So this feels like a real place. And that's important because we spend 90% of our time there, but it's also important because even though the HAB is really big and vast and complicated, it's also contained and you're stuck there. And whatever is happening in this environment, it's the air you breathe, it's the water you drink, it's the spaces you occupy. And whatever is happening in that environment you have to live with that, right? So whatever, because you've screwed the planet over. So the larger habitat that we have is no longer available. So now we have this very small thimble of a habitat that we all have to kind of subsist in. And any actions we take and anything else that happens in that HAB, we have to live with now. There's no place else to run. So that's what it is. It's like, that's where the phrase, the HAB or habitat, comes from is that, and there's even a deeper meaning to it that I don't want to talk about on the show because it spoils it. But there's layers to like, where do we have to run? What do we live in? What's our environment like? What have we done to that environment? And also, what external forces impact that environment? And how can we live with those external forces? So the HAB represents all of that, the structure itself. It's a microcosm for the world. Yeah.
So somebody has huge existential terror about the future.
Yes.
And on a personal note, what do I need to do to get
the state that I live in is existential terror.
Exactly, right? 2026 existential terror. That should be the subtitle.
Yeah, ET.
What? How do I get invited to the HAB? I mean, we know that it's Tuttle. No, not happening. No.
You have a comic book show. You don't get invited.
There's got to be a court jester position or something, right? Or is it just so elite we're not even?
Now, listen, I don't know if you want to be in the HAB. Once you pick up this issue, I think you might be happy you didn't make it down there into the HAB.
Happy I'm in your head might be the best outcome for you, frankly. Yes, what Siena said is 100% true. But also, this is literally his very, very immediate family. So it's going to be his daughter, his I don't know if it's his third wife, but it's like his trophy wife, right, who's half his age, and his dementia riddled, ailing, crippled mother, and that is it as far as family goes. Everyone else in the HAB is staff. He needs his cook. He needs his security team. He needs his, he needs the engineers that run the HAB because it is a very big engineering feat. And he needs a doctor, his personal doctor that takes care of his mother and him. And that's really it. So unless you have to have three things to get into the HAB at the end of the world, right? You have to have a skill set that is absolutely necessary. Doctor, engineer, right?
Director of purchasing for comics.
Director of purchasing for a comic book store.
Exactly. Then you have to be one of the very best at that in the world. And then you have to be a selfish fuck who dedicated a lot of your life to a billionaire and not to, real people, but who spent your time. So there is a world in which everyone, except for, you could argue maybe his daughter, everyone kind of chose a path in which they dedicated their services in their life, not to the many or to social order, but in fact to one narcissistic fucker. Can we curse on the show? Sorry.
Well, we did.
So have decided that we can.
I will say this though. This is a mature comic because we were given a lot of wonderful preview pages, so thanks Siena for that. And Jay and I had to pull a bunch of them because it gets dark.
No. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's dark, not because of the language.
When we say there's horror, I mean it like we said, there's pretty gruesome body horror in this. It does get dark. So if you're a fan of that kind of like body horror, it does get bloody in the HAB for sure.
So I guess we should ask. We know about our protagonists now. We know about the location. Or is the HAB itself the antagonist, or does something?
Well, that I don't really want to share. There's got to be. I definitely want to get be part of the joy of this book, and generally the way I write is, I think there's some misdirect early on. I think there's some, and also every issue is. I'm sure you guys are familiar with story shape, right? And some story shapes are like this. It kind of like you accelerate to something and then you're released and then you accelerate again and then you get and then you get out of it. The story shape that is my favorite and that is one of the hardest to write is just a full ramp the whole time. You start down here and then you just go until you fall off the cliff. And so every horror beat that drops, I think there's a second one that either contradicts what you thought was happening in the first time or accelerates it, right? So I don't want to be too specific about exactly where the horror comes from.
That's awesome.
And I also think it's the instinct of the reader to think it's the Hab that is the problem. So maybe that's your answer right there, is that I just said it like that. But I think that we play around with that feeling and that vibe. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna answer the question. No, the Hab's not the problem. The thing is like you. But we definitely play with that a lot. Like we're right now we're fine-tooth combing the lettering to make sure that everything is really concise and nice. And that's a discussion that we've been having a lot. Is like, it is the instinct of the reader that the Hab is the problem, right? That like we've seen that story before. The AI goes wrong, or you know what I mean. The something like and we play with that. But I don't think that's very interesting. I think there's a more interesting thing to say about human nature, about nature outside of human nature, like external nature, and consciousness, and a lot of other stuff too. Guilt.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can I ask more of a personal question? Kind of leading
Please,
into that.
God.
Okay, here we go. So, I mean, you're Eisner Award nominated. Your run on Unknown Soldier is a must read. If you haven't found
Thank
it,
you.
go dig through your comic book shop until you can.
Good luck.
We're just about a month out from the release of this book, but you said you've been working on it since the pandemic. As a creator, putting something like this out in the world, what's the feeling as we go into like the final sprint before this hits comic shelves?
Well, I always am so excited about the work I'm about to put out. Like I mean, not my whole career, but in the last 10 years or 15 years, I've felt like I've gotten to work with extraordinary people and had amazing editorial teams on my side, and then also got better personally, just as someone who has who understands their own observations on the world and then could communicate those in a narrative, like a story form. So, I'm always excited, but I will say with this book, one, working with David is like a career highlight. And I've had a lot of career highlights. I've worked with Richard Corbin, Mike Mignola, but David is somebody who really, really, really always spoke to me. Is huge Stray Bullets fan, like everybody else in the world. And also David and I are very like-minded people, and we tell stories in very similar ways. So that was a huge thing for me. And then also because of the nature of where we are and how I think I'm getting better at approaching my concerns without being like too didactic or even obvious in my attack on the things that I'm concerned with, because I'm concerned with the same things we're all concerned with, right? So I think that in that regard, this is a really big leap forward for me as a book. So, and then also it took us so long to get it out. So all those combined mean my enthusiasms are almost like I'm like a bare wire, like sparking in the rain. Like I just want this book to come out, So I'm very excited. I don't know if that answers your question, but sheer excitement is the answer. And I really want people to read it, and I want the right people to like it, and I want the wrong people to hate it. And I really want it to. Yeah.
All right. Well, that timeline's coming to a closure,
dude.
Yeah, I know. So the Hab FOCs this Monday and releases on April 15th. Do I have that correct, Siena?
Yes, and then just the former retailer in me has to condense down everything Dysart Josh just said down to like a quick 30-second pitch for the retailers who like, how do I order this book, or who is this for? We talk a lot about, the team has talked about like being horror fans, movie fans, influences, and I feel like the vibes that I get from that, the easy to explain vibes from this book, even though there's so much more going on, is very much like John Carpenter's The Thing. A lot of that like contained horror, psychological horror, the social horror between people.
Yeah, the character horror, like people are hell, yeah.
The Descent, but going with like a very elevated storytelling that people associate with like a Robert Eggers or something like that. In terms of the storytelling. So that's like an easy pitch, especially for someone, everyone knows John Carpenter's The Thing, I would hope. So that is like an easy comp for this if you're trying to get it in front of horror fans. And then again, issue 1 alone, Dysart working with David Lapham, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Jacob Phillips all on interiors. And you'll get Bill Sienkiewicz throughout this book with David Lapham. Jacob did a special like flashback for just issue 1. And I mean, we've seen the art flash on the screen. Like, this is a big chunker. It's 48 pages. We just increased the page count. So yeah, orders are on Monday. And there's some fun stuff we didn't even get to talk about, like this cover right here. This is the B cover.
Yes.
Josh is actually right now finishing up. This is fun. It's an open order cover. There's going to be an exclusive prose story on the back that you can only get on the back of this cover. So something fun, like for collectors, if you want more story, it's not essential, but it does add to the story. It's only available on the back cover. And that's going to be told across all 5 issues. So you can pick up each of these B covers and get a sequential story throughout the run. And we built a freaking VHS tape for this, which is pretty fun. We turned issue 1 into a VHS video that you can collect. So there's a lot of bells and whistles on the Hab. And, you know, we did it because Josh put together a really, really awesome book. So very excited for people to see this, because this is one of those books that when I joined Bad Idea a year and a half ago, when we say it's done, it's really done, because I read the Hab when I first joined on, and it was one of those books that I was very excited about. I was like, oh, I'm really glad I'm working here, because I know as a retailer, I would be very excited to sell this book. And so I'm excited to be able to work on this book with folks like Josh. So I'm really excited.
And that's really meaningful for me, because Siena's amazing. So that's special. And that bodes well for the book that she dug it at the script level.
There was art back then too. That's right. What we mean. It's done.
Been in production for so long. I do want to say about the VHS thing, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but a big influence on this book is when I was a kid, before there was Blockbuster. I'm a child of the 80s. I'm an old dude. Before there was Blockbuster, there was like the mom and pop video rental store. We had our first video rental store in our neighborhood. I would ride my bike to it every day after school, and I rented horror movies in alphabetical order, right? I started with A and I went through it, and the stoner kid behind the counter never ID'd me. You've got like a 13-year-old boy with, a cannibal holocaust, or I spit on your grave or something, like walking up. He doesn't care. And honestly, that is kind of my source code. There's always a little bit of horror in everything I do. And I think the Hab is really kind of the first opportunity I've ever had to take all that expression, the Italian, the Fulci body horror, a little bit of the giallo, and then, all my influences from that era, including the comic book horror stuff. Like, I used to love Wasteland, which was a short story collection the Ostrander did at DC way back in the 80s, but also Junji Ito and all the Japanese horror and stuff. So this really, I found a way, I hope, that is successful at being a really good, smooth story, but also incorporating so much of the stuff that I love, all the different kinds of ways in which a reader can experience anxiety, fear, grotesqueness, So I think that's why we did the VHS thing, right? Because I was like,
yeah. And we just wanted to make one. No, yes, definitely. I mean, everyone on the crew has that similar background. I did not go A through Z on the horror VHS selection like Josh, but definitely influences for the whole team. So we wanted to do, and again, when we have a book we're really excited about, we're always looking to do something exciting. So this one, it's like we only made 36 of this VHS tapes. It's the issue 1 turned into like a video you could watch with a bunch of bonus features tagged in there that loaded onto the videotape that I can't talk about, that are going to be surprises. So, if this sounds cool to you, like if you're either like a fan of like super limited collectibles, or you just want to see what's on this tape, which I can assure you do, let your retailer know, because there are only 36. And Josh and I were on a big retailer call yesterday, and we have only a handful left. And I think we got 4 claimed by the end of the chat. So there's very few left. So if you're excited about the book as a retailer or fan and you want this, definitely let me know. I'll just give you guys my email. Just write on the chat. Oh, I don't know how to put it in. So I'm going to.
I think we have to join the YouTube chat to chat. I tried to answer Corcoran.
If you throw it in the chat, we can see if Jay can throw it on screen, and Jay will probably yell at me and tell me like that's not how technology works, Mathias. But well, he gets prepared to do that. All right. One thing
Corkman
I want
is asking: is there a VHS player giveaway to actually watch? No.
The very exciting news is you can walk into a thrift store and buy one of those for $5.
Yeah.
That's what Siena's telling.
Salvation Army, Corkman, you'll find one.
Yeah. So reach out to your local comic shop to see if they're going to get the VHS. Let them know you're interested. And if you let them know right away, maybe it's a possibility that Siena can, figure out a way with your retailer to get it. But it's not going to be cheap. I'll say that. So, all right. Here is a big one. Siena, you have a great history in retail. You are a renowned retailer before you moved over to sales. So I need something from you.
Yes.
I need you to go back in time. Pretend you are working behind the register. I've just given you my money for my comics this week. I'm getting ready to leave, so I only have a few seconds. And I'm like, by the way, is there any good horror comics coming out? Give me your quick pitch on why I need the Hab.
I was going to say, I was about to point you over to Uzumaki. No. Yes, the Hab. Yes, you absolutely.
It is a better book.
Yeah, you absolutely need this book. It is a giant 48-page chunker of a horror book with the creative team of a lifetime. Eisner-nominated writer Joshua Dysart, multiple Eisner winner David Lapham of Stray Bullets fame and acclaim, Bill Sienkiewicz doing interior art, and I would open it and show the Bill Sienkiewicz pages to prove that I'm not lying. Yes, Bill Sienkiewicz from New Mutants drawing inside this book. He doesn't do that ever. And Jacob Phillips. I'm a huge Jacob Phillips fan. I mean, that Texas Blood,
is so pretty.
Enfield Gang Massacre, and yes, the palette he's picked on his backup in this book is amazing. You have to read this. There is no other book on the shelves like this, and it has every kind of horror you can imagine. And especially issue 1 is it is dense and there's a lot of tension building, but we really start strong in issue 1. There are a lot of horror moments. These pages are from issue 1, a lot of them, like this one here. So Josh just hits the gas and doesn't let up. Like you said, it really is a ramp. A ramp of a book. So
I remember getting a text from David when David first got the scripts, and the first text I got from David, and David and I, we known each other, but we didn't have the relationship we have now because we just started working together. And David was like, Jesus, you really go right out of the gate. I'll never forget. That's one of my favorite texts of all time. Jesus. So yeah.
You've got David Lapham saying Jesus Christ about this horror book. Then I think that says it all. That should be the pull quote on the back.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, I want to stress, people who have been reading me for a long time know that character is really kind of my favorite thing. I definitely like to prioritize characterization over plot, and think sometimes people bitch about that, but that's just my bag, right? And so I don't think we've sacrificed that here. I just think I've figured out the tuning finally after doing this for 30 years. I figured out the tuning of how can we make sure characterization feels authentic and real, and these are real people, but also we're constantly ramping the tension, we're constantly moving the plot forward, and everything is kind of racing towards something. So
all right, well, Siena, we obviously have you on your big pitches. And
yes,
we're all excited. I think everyone watching is going to go to their local comic shop and place an order for the Hab, or they're going to convince their parents to. We don't know. It's always a matter of maturity level. But maybe you'll get the right guy behind the counter that just says, "Oh, you're 13." It's
yes.
Cool. But we have some other bad idea books that are coming up that we really quickly want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, Siena, first off, Ordained. Fourth printing of #1 is on FOC this week. This is clearly big.
It is.
Give us a reminder why they need Ordained.
Well, 1, you better order that 4th print. I think we might need a 5th. I don't know. We've just been selling out of this book like crazy. Issue 2 just dropped this week on Wednesday, and we've sold out of issue #2, even though we did a massive overprint. And we're on the 2nd print of issue #2. So yes, on FOC this week, you have the 4th print of issue 1 and the 0 issue, Ordained Zero, the Machine, which is also a jumping on point. So if for whatever reason you can't track down 1 and 2, you can jump in here and then track down 1 and 2. But the 4th printing of issue number 1 and the 2nd printing of issue number 2 will actually drop on the same day, so you can get all caught up. But the Ordained, written by Rob Venditti, you know him from Superman 78, had a great Green Lantern run. Hawkman made Hawkman make sense to me, which was such a feat. He's here with Trevor Hairsine. You might know him from Deceased. He had a great run on X-Men. And in issue number 2 that just came out, we have Eisner-winning artist Tanchi Zanjic from Who is Jake Ellis doing a flashback sequence in issue 2 where you get our lead Father Roy's backstory. But I mean, it just had, this is another one where I was a retailer. I was like, this has the 30-second elevator pitch that I know I can convince everyone in the shop to go pick this up. You're following Father Roy. He was a Catholic priest in St. Louis. He also does last rites at the local hospital. He gets called in. There's an old man on his deathbed. He starts to give him his final confession. The old man starts confessing worse and worse sins. Turns out this is the head of the Irish mafia who is on his deathbed, and he wants forgiveness because he's at death's door. Father Roy believes he's penitent, gives him the forgiveness. Next day, though, miraculous recovery. The mob boss is going to live. Now he's got some loose ends, mainly the priest. He's got to kill him because he now knows too much. But what he doesn't know is before Father Roy was a priest, he was a Navy SEAL. So he is a badass who can contend with all the goons that Cormac, the mob boss, send after him. But of course, now that he's taken the cloth, he has vowed that he will not kill. So it's, again, another like rocket of a series, just nonstop action once you get going. But also, Rob is great with character, like Josh, really great character moments. And it's a really great, it has a lot of great stuff about faith. It's a super personal book for Rob. So he manages to combine all that with this amazing action book with Trevor Hairsine's really, really cool panel layouts, especially for the fight scene. It's already announced that it's being adapted for a movie by Derek Kolstad, who wrote all the John Wick movies, going to star Colin Farrell. So partially there's a lot of heat there for that reason. But I mean, now that we've sold out of issue 2, it tells me that people also really dug it and just want to read it. So I'm very excited about it.
2 things on that. I think it's a failing on the retailer side, Mathias and myself, that you guys had to go to a 4th print on a book like this. It really is great. It's specifically Mathias's fault. I ordered a ton of this.
Yes.
But it recalls, so many awesome things. I mean, like the Walking Tall, like the Buford Pusser story, Road to Perdition, even Preacher. Like there's just so many different elements of Boondock Saints, right? Like there are so many things to love about this book, and the fact that you guys had to go to a 4th printing to get it out to the audience, again, I think it's a failing on us as retailers. But this book is absolutely incredible.
I mean, I can't say it. I
got to point it out really quick.
It.
It is not a failing of anyone who watches this show, though, because we are 10 for 10. We interviewed Robert for Ordained prior to FOC, just like we did Brett Bean for Dork. We talked up 51 with Kurt Pierce before that blew up this week. This show has hit every single one of those. White Sky. We've hit, like every single big hit recently. Robot drones, all that. A reminder: if you're watching this show, you're in the know. How you place this order knowledge we give you. But I'm telling you, ready for this? The Hab. Get your orders in. Don't wait for printing number 7.
And I will say, please do. I am, as a former retailer, you guys can attest how the market has gone crazy with new like number ones, like non-superhero number ones every week. Selling out just instantly. Part of that, I'm sure, is clearly a speculation boom. But if you want to read these books, that means you have to, if you don't want to get caught empty-handed on Wednesday, you have to let your retailer know before Monday so they can order you a copy. If not, you're going to be fighting against people who are like, dang, oh, I didn't know Ordained is got a movie 4th print. That's a low print run. Better go pick it up. You got to make sure to let your shop know. Yes, I saw a question. Do we have a website? Yes. Can you get to it right now? No. We're actually, it's like being overhauled by a developer, like web developer as we speak. So it'll be up very soon. But it is badideacorp.com when we go back live. But if you click on it now, it's like, are you sure you want to be here? Because it's under construction. But it will be back up very shortly. But yes, Ordained. Very excited about this book. If your retailer still has copies, please check out issue number 2. Just came out Wednesday. It's one of my favorites. Again, just awesome fight sequence, awesome character work. Tanchi's flashback sequence is amazing. This book is great. And yeah, for whatever reason you can jump in on issue 0 because that is a one-shot special. The Machine, this is like a big, brutal, blue-collar hitman that after, Father Roy dispatches all of Cormac Burns' goons, he has to call up this guy to finally take down Father Roy. So the big battle in issue 3 is between the Machine and Father Roy. Issue 0, you get a bit of a backstory. You're seeing like the Machine's day before he goes out to kill Father Roy. You see like him on his other jobs. But it does take place during the story, but because it's from the Machine's point of view, you can jump in here cold and kind of get a feel for the storytelling. It's still Rob and Trevor Hairsine on the book. And it's a really fun issue. And yeah, you get to see why the Machine is so menacing, aside from being just this bulky dude. That's Trevor. Trevor did that cover. The A cover is by Jorge Forns, who's doing all the A covers on the series. There's some really fun covers on this one. Arturo Lozzi does a Vengeance of Bane homage. Carrie Nord, that's Carrie Nord on this cover of the Machine eating a sandwich in a really bloody kitchen. And we did something fun for this book too. We worked with a Hollywood practical effects artist for the 1 in 50, who is hand painted the 1 in 50 with epoxy resin blood. And yeah. So each one has like blood on the cover. It's really, really cool. So yeah, very excited about that book.
Awesome. Now there's a huge one.
Massive.
I mean, I would almost say megalithic.
That's, you took the words right out of my mouth. But before it, I would say Olympus Saga Megalith, which is the full name when you're telling your retailer you want to buy it. But yes, May, this book, literally 8 years in the making. And retailers who were at Comics Pro, I think like 5 or 6 years ago, know that this to be true. Matt Kint teaming up with Louis LaRosa. That's Louis LaRosa art right there on the catalog cover. Lunar actually made us the cover for the May catalog because we're very excited about this book like we are. But yeah, Louis has been drawing it for 8 years. Every single page is a work of art. And I mean that truly, where like, I don't know that you can find a book on the stands that looks like this. And I think it only happens if you give the guy 8 years to draw it. And Laura Martin on colors is incredible because it's super hard to find someone to color Lewis because it's so detailed and like you don't want to lose it. And Laura did an incredible job. But yes, a massive deep space object crash lands into Baltimore. NORAD, the government, nobody sees it coming. It crashes, takes out like a third of the city. And nobody knows what it is. So you're following this beat cop, Jack Casey, and this crew of scientists who have like rolled in from DC. We're trying to figure out what this is because it is this giant, like 100-story tall megalith, and it's growing even taller and taller. It's 3D printing itself, and nobody knows how to breach it, what's going on. DC, some generals want to nuke it to just destroy it, but obviously that would take out Baltimore and countless lives. So you're following this beat cop, Jack Casey, and this team of scientists who are trying to figure out what this megalith is and how to take it down without endangering the lives of everyone in the city. And then it really evolves into a giant robo-mech kaiju beat-em-up book in like the best way. I mean, you can see in some of these pages what the megalith eventually turns into. Spoiler alert, it's a super awesome giant robo-mech. And, you know, there's another alien object coming And so, you know, Jack Casey eventually going to have to figure out how to pilot this thing and defeat this giant monster. But every single page looks like this. It is one of the prettiest books I've ever seen. So much action, so much great, cool novel storytelling by Matt and Lewis on this. And we did some crazy bad idea type stuff to help promote it. So if you're a retailer and you go big, we will literally give you a page of original art from the 3rd issue of Megalith that Lewis drew. We were bringing the original pages to show them off to retailers at Comics Pro. So if you go up, order up, we will literally give you an original page to sell instead of like a sketch cover. You get Lewis's original art from an interior page. And a lot of these pages, I mean, like you get these like really cool splashes thrown in like that. There's Baltimore Harbor. If anyone's ever been to hang out at Baltimore Comic-Con, recognizable there. What else do? We teamed up with those guys who did the bloody cover to make a meteorite cover for Megalith. Since Megalith is from space, it's going to have a cover with actual meteorite dust on it. So much so that it's magnetic, that if you hold a magnet to the cover, it'll pop open because of the iron ore and the meteorite dust. What else do we do? It's a lot of fun stuff. Crazy artists working on covers. James Herron. If you have any fans of, his kaiju book. Leinil Francis Yu, Jerome Opeña, Joe Quesada, all doing covers on this book just for issue 1. And then you could also get a cover with actual meteorite dust on it. You could get original art. But we wanted to just blow the doors off because we've literally been waiting 8 years for this to come out. And so a lot of fans have been like, where is Megalith? When is it coming? And now we can say that it is like the Habit is completely done. It is fully done. Lettering, we just locked lettering on the 3rd issue. So it's done. And so it is coming out in May. And I am very, very stoked for everyone to see this book, if you can't tell by how enthusiastic I am.
No, this looks amazing. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen giant mechs or kaiju on the scale this seems to put them at. But
Yeah.
One thing I got to point out, like if you're interested in some of the things that Siena's saying, like these meteorite and all that, you're going to have to reach out to your local retailer. You need to tell them, hey, I heard Siena talk about this and I'm interested.
Yes.
How are you guys going to get it? Like, how much is it going to cost? Because every store is going to be different. Not every store will qualify, but you have the time because Siena, how long do retailers and customers have before we have to finalize orders on Megalith?
You still have another month. You still have a whole nother month to finalize orders. This is definitely a book we're not going to be shitting up about for the next month because we're so excited. But yeah, check out our Instagram. I know we've been posting covers and things like the James Herron cover we just posted the other day. And we also have a mailing list that right now you cannot join because our website's down. But if you email me at siena@badideacore.com, I can hook you up with our email list. So you can get, stay tuned for all the awesome Megalith news still to come. But yeah, you've got a month. I would say do not miss this because, like I said, like every week, every number 1 selling out. Don't get caught without Megalith because this one is a big one. And honestly, you're just going to want to look at it because it's incredible.
All right. So that's a April FOC for a May release on Megalith?
Yes. 2nd week of May is when Megalith comes out. May 15th. You got to fact check me on that one. That Wednesday of that week of the 15th is when Megalith comes out.
Absolutely.
So you got a month. So order up. Or that's Mathias's line.
April 13th is the FOC day. So we're literally a month away to the day right now. And then it releases May 13th. We just love the 13s with you guys. Friday the 13th show.
Friday
and
the 13th.
Everything is going to be the 13th.
It's good luck for us since we're Bad Idea.
Yeah.
Inverted.
All right. Before we let you go, we have one last book we got to talk about. Siena, can you tell us a little bit about, let's see if Jay can get it up on there, Warbird?
And I just, if someone can relay our Instagram, I just tossed our it's @BadIdeaHello is our Instagram. So definitely follow us there. Warbird. Yes. man, this book is another one that I'm very excited about. I'm gonna say that about every book, but that's why I work for Bad Idea. I wouldn't work here if I wasn't this excited about every book. Warbird, this is launching on Free Comic Book Day for us with a 0 issue. It is Derek Kolstad and Robert Venditti, the team that brought you Planet Death. Derek also, like I said, created John Wick, wrote all the movies. Him and Rob teamed up for Planet Death, and they're coming in together again for Warbird. The artist on here, Jesse Lonergan, is drawing this 0 issue for Free Comic Book Day. The cover is by Frank Quietly. I think I always say that wrong because I say it like quietly. It's probably not. I don't know how to say it.
Quietly.
I'm just gonna say it. Quietly. Frank Quietly. Yes. So another crazy team. Jesse Lonergan, like his comics, his sense of storytelling is amazing. If you haven't checked out like Drome and Hedra, some of his image books. And he's doing, this is like a all out white knuckle, like straight action book. So seeing him use his really cool paneling, storytelling sensibilities for like a straight like action blockbuster is so freaking cool. It almost like reminds me, I'm looking at the pages that we'll probably start showing them next week. It reminds me of the Speed Racer movie by the Wachowskis. Like that kind of like really cool visuals for this book. So, but yeah, the quick pitch, you're following Cole Wheeler. I don't know if that's still his last name. You're following Cole. He's a high-end repo man. So basically he is sent out to recover things that nobody else can get back. So like the opening sequence, he's off to Cutoff to repo like $1 billion yacht. And he's got to go take it back because it's in a no extradition zone area. And the cool thing about him is he can fly, drive, pilot, anything. And he gets a 10% fee of whatever he can repossess. So that's kind of his gig. He's ex-military. He's work for hire now, doing these high-end repo jobs. But in this book, he gets contacted by the U.S. government that says, hey, Russia's actually stolen this $1 billion prototypical jet. We need you to go in, sneak in and repo it back. But obviously this isn't like an actual repo job. This is like he has to sneak into a foreign country and steal back a jet. But there's also this mystery going on at the same time. His former friend from the military, he found out just was killed in Russia, in Moscow. We think related to the theft of this jet. So he's also going there to kind of figure out what happened to his friend. But it's just a huge, huge book. Like if this was a movie, it'd be $1 billion, which is why it's just going to be a kick-ass comic book where like he can fly, pilot, drive anything, which means that Derek and Rob get to just blow everything up like every other page, where like it's very, very fun. Total, like I said, pedal to the metal, like nonstop action. And yeah, like I said, I mean, you're getting possibly for free, depending on how your retailer deals with our Free Comic Book Day book. We give retailers an option where they can either sell it for $2 or give it away on Free Comic Book Day. It's the cost of a Free Comic Book Day book for the retailers. But yeah, that's an all new story for Free Comic Book Day. Jesse Lonergan, Derek Kolstad, and Rob Venditti. FOC on that is coming up, so let your retailer know that you're interested, or because this is going to kick off the main series. So
I want to take a quick moment on that really quick to point out it's that reminder. Free Comic Book Day is an awesome day. It's the first Saturday in May every year, but it's not free for everyone. Your retailers go through a lot of trouble. They pay for everything they give out. And it's that reminder why you want to be thankful to your retailer, but also understanding when each retailer and each store is going to have a different way of doing things. Always talk to your retailer. Let them know because communication is key, getting your orders to them, and also, making sure that they can, sustain their business and continue providing you great comics. Whether in some cases it's free, in some cases you're paying for it one way or another. You're supporting a wonderful business and a wonderful industry. So always communicate with your retailer. Let them know what you're interested in. Let them see what they can do for you.
And you're building community too when you support your local retailer.
Yes. Yes.
So speaking of supporting community, we got to talk about it. So Bad Idea. It's almost like a bad idea that the website's down right now, but Bad Idea. You have a website, you have social media. Remind us all how to find that. And then Josh, remind us how people can find you so we can know when you're going to have new books out and maybe new collections and other great tales we can learn about.
Cool. Go ahead, Siena.
All right, bad idea. We popped the Instagram, I believe in the comments here. It's at Bad Idea Hello. So you can follow us there. And, you know, shoot us a DM on the Instagram, or I gave my email out. It's just my name, Siena at badideacorp.com. You can always email me. I will not always respond that same day, but I will respond to you. And if you want to get hooked up onto the newsletter while our website's down, feel free to shoot me an email or shoot a DM on Instagram, and I'll get you all added up. And yeah, we're on X, I guess now, Twitter, at Bad Idea Hello. And yeah, so definitely come check us out. Take it away, Josh.
Awesome. Oh yeah, and somebody's Quickman's asking, am I signing at any free comic book day locations? I don't think I have signings for free comic book day lined up right now. Do I? Oh, but however, I'm doing 3 signings for the HAB. 2 on the day of here in Los Angeles. If you're in LA, I'll be at the Comic Bug. I'm pretty sure it's the Manhattan Beach location, but I haven't verified that yet. But I'll definitely let you know. And then I'm also at Ed's Comic Paradise. And do you know which location I'm signing at, Siena, there?
We haven't locked it down yet.
We're going to lock this down and we'll let you know. And then I'm also at...
I guess you'll be at Nowhere Games and Comics too, you know.
Yeah.
So
big Saturday
that
signing.
Saturday. Yeah.
Well, what about us East Coast retailers?
I mean, fly me out. I'm happy.
Did you not hear Free Comic Day was available, Billy?
I heard that.
Yeah,
I'm happy to do
set
it.
them up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's my free comic book day signing. Although I don't have anything coming out on free comic book day, to my knowledge. So
We'll have one. We'll still be out, and then if you have to go out, I'll have to come down also, and we'll go hit Disney World afterwards. After
What
we
a
after we're at Billy's store.
nice. Thanks, Derek. I know.
Oh, awesome.
Josh, where can people find you if they can't make it out to a signing?
So the only place I'm really active, I mean, I am technically on Instagram. I am technically still on Facebook and some like haunted house page where no one goes anymore. But I'm really on Blue Sky a lot. I know not a lot of you are on Blue Sky, but that is where I have decided to park. If you come there, I'm very open. I'm almost too open, some marketing directors would say there, but I would love to talk to you and hang out. And I can often, depending on how much the world is blowing up, which is all the time now, I'm there going crazy. So happily join me on Blue Sky, and that is where you can find me.
What's the handle?
Oh, that is an excellent question. I'm pretty sure it's just Josh Dysart. Let's check.
All right.
Joshua Dysart, Dysart, all one word, .Blue Sky. You'll find
awesome.
Me. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. There's so much to go talk to your local comic shop about, like a lot of great, it's weird to say a lot of great books to order from Bad Idea, but maybe that was the whole trick.
It's the best company name in the business. Come on now.
It really is. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy. So great job co-hosting. This was exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
Wouldn't have been the same without Billy.
That's right.
It's always true.
Yeah. That's what everybody says. It's industry known.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you guys so much. All right. And don't forget, guys, get your orders into your local comic shop. The sooner the better for all those books that sound intriguing. But me and Billy are going to talk about some other books now. And we've got an hour to knock out the entire FOC week. Thankfully, it's a shorter week this week, right? You think we can do it?
I think so. It's a little bit of a smaller week for FOC, but there's some really, really cool stuff that I'm personally over the moon about. So,
all right. Well, let's start it off at Penguin Random House. Let's start it off. I got this all alphabetized and ready. And the first one, I think I love. Like I was talking with Billy about what he wanted to discuss, and our overlap is amazing. So let's dive right in with a lot of manga theme today. The Art of Star Wars: New Hope, the manga.
I think the problem with this is the title is going to throw people off, unfortunately, because I'm just going to tell everybody what it is. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually the 1997 film reproduction of Star Wars: A New Hope, but as a manga. I know it says The Art of Star Wars: A New Hope. That is part of this. It's going to be 2 volumes, starting with volume 1, obviously in the title, where they do have the original art boards, but it is the original Japanese, I guess dub would be the way to describe it. It's the Japanese script, 1-for-1 translated to English, but it is still read right to left. If you're a Star Wars fan, you need this in your collection. It hasn't been in print in like 20 years or something like that. I know you're a big Star Wars guy, right, Matthias?
Oh, absolutely. I love Hisao Tamaki on this.
Yeah, there's no way you want to miss out on this book. Again, the title's a little bit confusing because it is The Art of Star Wars, and that is a component, which is cool. It's great, but realistically, it's the 1997 adaptation of A New Hope that they did in Japan, which is, as you can imagine, going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, Dark Horse originally released this manga with Hisao Tamaki. It had Adam Warren doing the cover of it. It was I adore it. It is an amazing one. I don't believe it's still in print. So this is a cool way to get a hold of it. Yeah, this is a very cool way to get a hold of it. It is a big $50 hunking, piece. This is not, like a just casual pickup, but I think if you're a fan of manga, if you're a fan of Star Wars, Billy said it right. This is a must-have, add to your collection. All right. So next up, another manga. We're going to have a manga heavy week on this. Betrothed to a Fox Demon. This is by Anju Hino. It is the newest one from Square Enix. And it's a very interesting concept. This is about a family of demon hunters, of monster slayers. And unfortunately, as we get to our newest generation, he has no kids. The line stops with him until his parents betroth him to a beautiful young woman. Now, I'm pretty sure you can guess where this is going in the title, but things are going to change quick when this sweet, innocent young girl is set to marry this man who makes a living of killing monsters. It has very much a Inuyasha vibe to it in my mind.
That's where I went too.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I like the twist on it. We're having the flop from Kagome and Inuyasha to more of like our protagonist is the badass male with a quest, and it's going to be our goofy female that is going to be the one throwing a wrench in his plans. But brand new series coming out soon. But we're going to keep with this theme is my favorite part. There's a lot of great continuing Western comics that you're used to. Everything from Beauty, a lot of great trades. But another one that caught Billy and I's attention is Cat Life Balance. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, I do. I'm super excited about this book. I love slice of life. I love rom-com. Everybody has to have a tender heart, right? So the setup for this book, I love it. The main character, I guess, is how the protagonist. He's the prince of the office. If you need a guy to change the light bulb, he'll do it. If you need to take out the trash, he'll do it. Everybody loves this guy in the office. He will go out of his way to make sure that everybody is taken care of. But as he gets older, he starts to think a lot about his love life and what the future holds for him. And then that enters our love interest, who is a very muted kind of character. She's very quiet. She keeps to herself. And one day he's walking home, enjoying a beer, as we all do, right? And he finds her smiling for the very first time while she plays with these stray cats, right, in an alley. And so the one thing that makes her happy is cats, which, if you're a cat owner, I love cats. It makes a lot of sense. The problem is our protagonist hates cats. He hates them. So, what's the guy to do? Do you pretend to love cats and pursue this girl you're very interested in, or do you move on? And so that's the conundrum that we get in Cat Life Balance Volume 1. It's going to continue through the series, but this is a good rom-com kind of slice of life book that I think is definitely worth picking up if that's your genre of choice.
Yeah, I think the thing that really caught me was they referenced one of my favorite modern mangas, Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, which is a masterpiece of slice of life. And I think that's the great thing is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You proved to me that you could have a slice of life where there is no big twists. There is no crazy change. There's no paranormal horror or anything like that. It is just an everyday life for two people, and it is absolutely amazing. So this has me fully intrigued, especially as somebody who, as Billy pointed out, I'm a dog guy. I've got 3 dogs. My wife's got a cat. I'm not, this is where my wife's going to find out. I'm not a fan of cats, but I love her so much. I always want to make it work. So I can respect this. This is an amazing, like, personal hit, of a manga. So going for something completely different. Let's talk about a European tale, or I guess it's arguably Asian, with an ex-Soviet artist who went to art school in Ukraine right around the time of Chernobyl. Yevgenia Neiberg is doing a autobiographical memoir about her time in Ukraine, being a young Jewish artist in a time where it was not the most ideal place to be that in Soviet Russia, as well as the post-Soviet Union fall. These are like the big moments in her life, and it is a just absolutely thought-provoking and intriguing piece. The artwork is very much in that European, style that we have grown to just love. This feels almost like it would be the type of book that Drawn and Quarterly or Fantagraphics would put out. It's actually Candlewick, which I like seeing them put out new things because everything they've done, again, it gives us an insight into a piece of life that most of us don't get to exist in. It gives us...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
No, the other thing I was going to say is, like, the fact that they're releasing it hardcover, softcover at the same time is great. So you get the decision, what you want to do, and then the fact that it's targeted middle grade, right? So we're looking at grades 5 and up. Even a little bit younger, 4th, 3rd grade. I would give this to them and kind of, because it's such a good like a freeze frame of that era in history, right? And so. For you and guys like you and I, we were probably right around her age when all of that happened. And so be able to hand out to a child and be like, hey, check this out, and give them that kind of world perspective is, I think, is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, in multiple levels. I mean, you're dealing with Soviet and post-Soviet Union. You're dealing with Judaism in that time period where, for example, as our protagonist has to deal with, the school she wanted to go to, they only allowed 1% of that school's class to be Jewish in a very controlled, and conscious way. So, I mean, you're getting a lot of interesting perspectives that you just don't often see in the Western world as much. And it can be eye-opening. And the fact that on top of that, we have the design of hardcover for $25 for the collectors, or the casual reader who just wants to throw it in their bag and bring it wherever they go, $16 softcover. I love these options. I love that it gives you the choice of how you want to collect, how you want to read. All right. You ready to talk about our first traditional Western comic of this?
I love it. I love comics.
Right.
Let's do it.
All right. The finale of The Crown, A Tale of Hell. For those of you guys who want a story of Hellboy without Hellboy, this is the story of Hellboy's brothers by Mike Mignola and his brother. You get a bit of a twist with the sister in there too, but this is the battle for Pandemonium. And post Hellboy and Hell, I am always chomping at the bit for anything more in the Hellboy universe. And this is it. The big conclusion. If you haven't grabbed issue number 1, it's on stands now. You don't want to miss. Did you get a chance to read number 1 yet of The Crown?
I did. And I actually wanted to ask you a question because somebody asked me this recently. Would you read a Hellboy reboot if Mike Mignola wasn't involved?
Oh,
right?
Oh, that is a hard one. I don't have a good answer for that.
Yeah, no, that caught me off guard too.
I don't want to outright say no. I've actually really loved a lot of great Hellboy stuff. The Hellboy Tales trade paperbacks that are available now at your local comic shop, and you can always ask them to order, show you the great examples of other creators doing Hellboy.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if it would obviously need Mike's approval to sign off. But,
I think that's where I settled too. Like if he co-signed it, he's like, yes, this is the continuation. I think I would be on board, but otherwise, I don't know. I don't think I could.
Yeah, but for now, we've got the finale of The Crown, and that has me excited. All right, this next one I get to blame Billy 100% for. I normally don't talk about DC products on Penguin Random House, and the reason for that is Penguin Random House will sometimes final order Cutoff DC collections, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, and omnibuy before they end up at Lunar. But Billy, you brought up a very valid point about this.
So I love that we get the crack at ordering our DC collections at PRH early. So for anybody that watches the show, you guys are obviously very familiar with FOC and how the FOC process works. The way that DC at Lunar is handled is it's broken up throughout the month, right? So for example, like this week, what did they have on the FOC? Absolute Green Lantern #2, things like, or Volume 2. With PRH, they take everything that DC is going, all the collected edition of DC is doing for the month, and they front load the catalog for the first week, the first FOC. So the cool thing is as a retailer, I get a first pass to kind of get my numbers right, where I go like, oh, I think I can sell this off the stands. I know I have an audience for this. I can do this and this. But if I miss something or something gets really popular and you guys come in and you're telling us like, hey, we want to read this, or hey, you need 1 million copies of this. Customer feedback is so important to the health of a comic shop, bar none. Then I can fall back on Lunar week by week if I missed out on PRH. So for me, I love the fact that it's front loaded. I can handle the whole collected catalog at the beginning of the month. But if I do miss something or something changes and I need to adjust my numbers, I always have the Lunar fallback week by week, which I love. Just having that safety net. We don't get a lot of safety nets in the comics industry. Having this one is great.
Yeah. So on that note, one thing I want to point out before we dive into a few DC titles is it doesn't hurt to let your local comic shop know early what you want. You don't have to wait till the weekend of FOC. In fact, please, the sooner you can tell your local comic shop, it is likely the better to guarantee you're getting those things. FOC is the last chance. That doesn't mean you have to wait till the last chance. So let's talk about the big expensive book this week, Dark Crisis Omnibuy. Omnibuy have been getting more and more popular in modern culture. People like those big hardcover collectibles that everything in one. And we're going to get a new one with the Big Crises event by Joshua Williamson, the same Joshua Williamson who's currently writing Superman, who is helping push the Absolute line and the big DCKO. This was one of the big ones. This was the Crisis of Infinite Earths of the past 5 years. It was huge. It was epic. And it gave us a world without the Justice League.
Do you think that the rise of the omnibus is due to like binge watching culture, where like people are now so used to, hey, I can watch an entire series on Netflix or Prime or HBO Max or whatever it is. So waiting for a periodical or a trade, now you just wait for the omnibus and get the entire series in one go.
Prior to like 30 seconds ago, I would have not made that association, but you're pretty. This is why I like Billy. He is spot on with these ideas. That is actually a really solid thing. I do notice that, yes, it is hard for some of the readers in my local comic shop and other comics I experience will have that issue of like, oh, I hate having to wait that month. And I think a huge part of that is Netflix and Amazon and all these other things have trained us to say, man, the new season of Stranger Things out, I'm going to watch that all tonight.
Right.
And yeah, this gives you that opportunity. Like, I will always be the guy where I'm reading so much, I like kind of just jumping between things. And like, all right, just read Absolute Wonder Woman. Now I got to read the new issue of Daredevil. And oh man, Daredevil was so good. Now I got to go read Ordained #2 and, just jumping around. But I know some people like to do it all at once. They like to have that condensed. They get the beginning, middle, and end. They don't break it up. They don't get confused what's happening. And this is a great way to do that because not only are you going to get the main event of Dark Crisis, but at $125, you're getting all of these amazing tie-ins. So all 7 issues of Dark Crisis, the end of the Justice League in 75. You're getting all the Flash issues, I Am Batman, the one-shots that deal with the various Justice League members in a post-life scenario. And the, Dark Crisis one-shots, Warzone, Dark Army, Big Bang, Deadly Green. Like, you're getting a ton of books in that hardcover.
And really, if you're dealing with a great comic shop like Nowhere or Coliseum of Comics, we have no problems kind of tracking this stuff down for you if we need to. But, I think with the omnibus, it's just such a clean, easy presentation. Like if you don't want to come in and dig through the boxes, some people love that stuff, some people don't. This is just an easy way to grab all of that content in just one beautiful, edition that looks great on your bookshelf when you're done with it.
Yeah. And the big one though is also in that it's an expensive piece though. So while you might love it and want it, your comic shop may not always get it without the heads up. So it's always important to let your comic shop know, hey, I understand this is an expensive piece, but I definitely want it. So please, can you make sure that you order it for me? Because look, every comic shop's going to love the sale, but they don't always know. And it can be a big risk for smaller shops or shops that are trying to do a lot of things. So always good to communicate. All right. You ready for the thing that Billy came into the chat earlier as I went, oh my God, this is crazy. And I finally get to talk about this. Though, really quick, if you are a Spanish reading customer and you want more comics in Spanish, Tokyo Pop has Pirates of the Caribbean and Nightmare Before Christmas in Spanish now for you. But this is the one that caught my attention. Drawing from Your Memory. Drawing from Your Memory is a beautiful slice of life manga with a crazy twist. It is the story of a young girl who was in a manga club with only one other student. And unfortunately, that student passed away shortly after she had met him. She is now a huge, well-known manga artist. The only problem is her popular best-selling series was actually created by her deceased friend, and she took his notebooks to create this tale. A huge twist. And it becomes a question of, did she do something to extend his memory in honor of him, or is she living a fake life in telling his tale under her name? This is such an intense sounding and deep manga, and it does a great job of jumping time back and forth as we even get flashbacks to 10 years earlier in that time where she is together with him while he is still alive. An emotional roller coaster. Kodansha is bringing something that I feel is going to guarantee my tears come out with this. So, I mean, this is the get a tissue box type of manga.
I also think it's just very timely because we're seeing this a lot in the industry right now with legacy, right? A famous mangaka passes away, and you continue the work? Berserk, Dragon Ball, even Solo Leveling, right? So, having something like this where you're in that world and kind of, following that perspective, I think it's very timely to some of the things we're actually seeing in the manga industry in real life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Shiki Kawabata looks like she has an absolute insane piece coming up on this. I don't want to wait until April 14th to read the whole entire Tankobon. Like this looks amazing. All right. Now, I think if we were going to get to the one that you want to talk to the most, Billy, it's Stitch, right? Stitch or
yeah,
no,
definitely
no.
Stitch.
Event Horizon Inferno.
Okay, yes, because Event Horizon is easily one of the best movies ever created, forever and always. I'm also a huge 40K fan. Everybody knows that you can draw a straight line from Event Horizon to Warhammer 40K. If you don't, get at me offline and we could talk about this for days. But earlier this year we got the prequel, which was great. We got to see that universe a little bit before the movie, which was Dark Descent. That should be in your comic book stores now. I think the trade should be releasing here shortly. But now we're getting a sequel that takes place 7 years after the movie. I'll be honest, I love the movie so much. I think it's kind of perfectly encapsulated, but I'm just so curious. I've got to see what happens. I mean, we're time jumping 7 years after the movie ended. What do they have in store for us? I will give IDW credit. A lot of this of the licensed horror stuff that they're doing. I'm not a big licensed comic guy, but the licensed horror has been a lot of fun with Smile and things like that. But Event Horizon, probably one of my 5 Island movies for sure. And so getting to go back into that universe and jumping ahead 7 years, I'm very curious to see what they do with that universe for sure.
Well, and I think one of the big things, as you pointed out, with these licensed horror ones that IDW is doing, is they're getting creators who are not only talented creators. Christian Ward, a well-known artist, but Christian Ward is writing this because Christian Ward is a fan of Event Horizon.
Right.
And I think that's a key thing is these are not just books that are just simply, oh, look, we have the license, we got to get some now. These are books that are driven by people who care about these continuities, that care about these properties. And I mean, outside of hiring Billy to, write it, Christian, I think, is the way to go. All right. Love Danny's comment on there.
I mean, we are kind of experts though, but no, realistically, like you said, the fact that these are passion projects, even Twilight Zone, shout out Twilight Zone, and it's not on FOC this week, but if you're not reading it, it's done anthology style with different creators for each issue. And you know, if you're a Twilight Zone fan, like you should be reading that comic hands down. They've like Tom Scioli did an issue, James Stokoe did an issue. Like that's some of the best comics on the stands right now for sure.
Absolutely. Some great covers also for Event Horizon Inferno. I'm excited about this but I'm also worried. I'm not going to lie. Like I'm curious in your perspective. I've always worried that if we got more Event Horizon, it would take the insane mystery away from it. Like sometimes you don't need to see behind the curtain, and I'm worried about it. I'm excited.
Like it's the whole Wizard of Oz thing. You don't need to see the wizard, right? I was like that with Dark Descent. I read Dark Descent and I was like, okay, you guys got me. I'll go down this rabbit hole with you. And so I'm here for it. I'm gonna give it a shot. It's 7 years in the future. You know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't land with me, I can always just put my blinders back on and pretend it's just a movie. Nope, not. Can I give him the premise of the movie? Was it?
Give him the premise.
All right, premise of the movie. We develop a technology that folds space, right? So I'm going to use this envelope here, right? And so everybody knows the fastest way to get somewhere is a straight line, right? But that's not the case. They invent this drive that folds space. And when you pass through, it punches through to the other side. It's much faster than a straight line. It's actually faster than light travels, which is like something insane, like 300 something miles a second or something like that.
Light speed.
Yeah, light speed is like 300,000 miles a second or something. Well, it turns out when you punch that hole, what is between where you punch the hole and when you come out the other side, right? It's, by the way, it's 299,792,458 meters per second is the speed of light, and this technology is faster than that. But again, you're punching a hole to get the other side of space. What's in that gap when you punch that hole? And so that's what it explores. Sam Neill is the inventor of the drive in Event Horizon. He's nobody's dad as far as at least in that film. I wonder if Sam Neill has actually ever played a father. You know,
I really don't.
He was a father figure in Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah.
But so no, that's the setup for it. Spoiler alert, I'm just gonna do the 40K theory. The way they travel in the Warhammer 40K universe, very, very similar. They punch a hole into something called the warp, which is essentially hell. And then they come out the other side, and hopefully these special shields that they have hold. Otherwise, there's a lot of demonic possession and crazy things happen, which is also very similar to what happens in Event Horizon. And so people have had this theory for years and years that Event Horizon is the proto warp drive from Warhammer 40K.
I like it. So if you need to know how this was created, Dark Descent does cover that. The trade paperback is July 28th. You can see a bunch of the beautiful covers that are available right now on PRH. And then, we get the sequel. So what could possibly happen 7 years later?
Everything was tied up so well, and then we jumped 7 years. So what's going to happen? So,
all right, I'm excited. All right, in opposite horror, less sci-fi. Well, I don't know. You know what? Frankenstein is sci-fi horror. Let's be honest. It is science.
Yeah. OG sci-fi horror.
Yeah, Mike Mignola is back with another Hellboy universe, Frankenstein, New World. A new, I believe this is a miniseries, or am I correct in that? Yeah, it is a miniseries.
Is it 4 or 2?
Looks like it might just be 2.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but this is our third miniseries dealing with Frankenstein, or more so Frankenstein's monster. Let's be honest here. In the Hellboy universe, good collection. Because as Billy and I were talking about, well, there's it's an interesting concept to see them reboot Hellboy. Look, I just want more stuff in that universe. I need more BPRD. Whether I get old Hellboy stories or other Hellboy adjacent stories with characters like Koschei, Rasputin, and Frankenstein, I'm happy to dive into that universe.
Hellboy is like our segue into that universe, but it's so rich that Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I like being in that world. Like, I like going into that world and seeing other corners of it that, you know, aren't necessarily dealing with Hellboy or Abe or anything like that. Like, let's just see the bigger picture for sure.
Absolutely. Kaiju fans, if you're not already hyped on Megalith, there are some amazing continuing series from IDW and Marvel. Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, the third piece of that Here There Be Dragons trilogy. Infinity Roar from Marvel, where we're basically getting the Avengers fighting symbiote Godzilla, the Nullzilla. A lot of fun ones there. Continuing series like Imperial Guardians, issue number 1 just dropped this week. It is the new Guardians of the Galaxy with the Shi'ar Empire, if you will. Or I guess I shouldn't limit it to the Shi'ar Empire. I guess it's more of just spinning out of the Imperial event Jonathan Hickman gave us.
No, I think calling it the Shi'ar Empire Guardians is probably the easiest way to pitch that book for sure.
Yeah. I gotta point this out. I have to take a second. Like, obviously, we're having a theme in April of Shield variants, Agents of Shield variants. Mm-hmm. I'm worried about the state of Shield if they have to hire Boom Boom. But
whoa. We cannot. Is this a Boom Boom slander show? Because we will not.
No. I love me some Boom Boom, but I don't know that I trust Boom Boom on Shield.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I don't know. Listen, Shield hiring practices have been spotty for a really long time. I don't know if Boom Boom's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
But I mean, she's a dangerous figure just in Inglorious X-Force. So throw her into Shield, that's going to be a whole other level. But yeah, great cover on Inglorious X-Force. More Hellboy stuff in the way of Crochet and continuations of not Hellboy, but Mike Mignola's adjacent series, Land Unknown, with the second Skinless Man issue. But one I skipped over, I want to go back to. I picked up a No Good, Useless Prince. More fun isekai goofiness.
Love a good isekai.
Yeah. But, I mean, you know, it's a small PRH week. A lot of continuing stuff. A lot of Star Wars pros getting reprinted in trade paperback. A ton of manga. A lot of continuing volumes.
Lots of next issues, like you said. Yeah, it is a reader's week for sure. Yes.
So for a lot of you guys, you likely already know your orders. Your stores likely already know your orders. But it's a good reason to catch up. Make sure that, you know, if you're adjusting anything on your pull boxes, subscriptions, or pull lists, that you let them know. Maybe you add something you've been catching up on, like No Place, or the other half after that big issue number 1 drop this past Wednesday. The big one I want to talk about next, though, I got to scroll a bit. So excuse me while I jump through a fair amount of continuing series to another continuing series, is issue 3 of Storm. Because I really think with issue number 2, if we haven't already seen it, we're going to see a lot of Marvel Rival fans coming over with the first canon 616 universe appearance of Galacta. And I already had to argue with my staff that this is not a Marvel Rivals character. I love me some Galacta from the Adam Warren days about 15 plus years ago. But now she had a minor scene in issue number 2 of Storm. I'm led to believe that means we're going to get the greater tale of Galacta in Storm. Would that be safe to assume, Billy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm glad you're taking up the torch for Galactica, because I mean, her first appearance was what, like 2009. She's a very old character. I'm so happy that Rivals has boosted her profile. But realistically, like that character is just like pushing 20 at this point. So to have her in the 616, I think it's going to be really cool. And I do think if you're a Rivals fan and you've been picking up those books, this is going to be a great segue into the more mainstream Marvel stuff. Storm is easily one of the best characters Marvel has ever done in the history of comics. But yeah, the addition of Galactica, I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on top of that, like, look, I'm going to say something really horrible here. Storm is not my favorite character. I am not a Storm fan. Billy's going to murder me on camera right now, but I'm loving Storm's Earth's Mightiest Mutant. Murewa is doing a phenomenal job as somebody who's not a Storm fan, I'm getting just sucked into this. I like the book. Having Galacta's very subtle appearance in issue 2, and then this hauntingly strong, pitch that's a 2-sentence solicitation from Marvel, outside of just being, hey, true believers, this is going to be the greatest book ever, is just unheard of. And this sells me on it so amazingly, so I'm just going to read it. To save Storm, the war above all, a mysterious entity abducts Aurora out of the multiverse completely. Storm must find her way back to Earth 616 by any means necessary. Who is that mysterious entity? Like, what could this be? That's the type of thing that makes you pick up a comic.
For me, especially when it's like the 2-sentence solicit, like I'm sold. Like, because like they're hiding something, right? Like there's something big that's going to happen. It's worth the pickup from that alone.
And my favorite part is there's no hyperbole in this. This is not the traditional, like, you got to have this issue or this is the greatest thing. It changes the world. No, this is a straight pitch. Storm gets sucked out of continuity. Can she make it back? I'm in.
So somebody asked about Shaman from the X-Men, if there's been any news about bringing him back or anything like that. As far as I'm aware, no, I haven't heard anything. I think the last Shaman story was like an Alpha Flight story from like a few years ago, but there's nothing like recent that's on my radar.
Yeah, nothing to my knowledge, but you never know. Another fun DC one to talk about. One of my favorite Superman stories ever. We seem to be having a little bit more Soviet conversation than I was expecting today. It's Superman Red Sun. And
at the Harasho.
Yeah. $10. There is no reason on heaven or earth not to own this book.
I agree. This is easily one of the best Superman stories ever written. Batruski is worth the price of admission alone. I'd pay $9.99 just to read his parts of the book. But no, if you haven't read this book or you're not familiar with this book, I'm very excited for you because you're in for a treat. What happens if Mr. Red, White, and Blue, Truth, Justice, and the American Way crash lands in the Soviet Union instead of Kansas? His values are going to be a little bit different, and his outlook on the world is going to be a little bit different. And for $9.99, you're going to get to find out exactly what those views are. This book is easily hands down top 3 Superman stories for me. I love this book.
I mean, yeah, it's a simple concept too. It's such a crazy thing. What if Superman simply landed on Earth 12 hours later? This Earth rotates half of its cycle. You end up in Soviet Russia. But the thing I love about this is not just a Superman story. Every major DC character gets like the Green Lantern Corps changed on its side. Batman, Wonder Woman, awesome. This has, in my opinion, one of the absolute best Lex Luthor moments ever. The hardest slam Lex Luthor has ever thrown against Superman exists in this book, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the compacts are just it's incredible value. The stories they're doing are just some of the absolute pillars of DC Comics, and so having to add Red Sun to that collection it's what an awesome pickup.
Yeah, I mean, and at $10, this isn't just you buy it for yourself. You pull out 20, you grab 2 copies, and you gift one to a friend. This is how you get more comic readers in the world. This is how you get them to discover. I will say this is the coolest part about the DC compacts. I don't think there's a DC compact they haven't made or that they have made that isn't I can hand this to anyone. Like literally, somebody wants to get into comics, I can go just take $10, slam it down at the register, and go grab any of the DC compact books and hand it to somebody, and they will fall in love with comics.
Oh, I mean, they've killed it. We've got V for Vendetta, Watchmen, Why the Last Man, the first volume, Why the Last Man, Court of Owls. I mean, it's just
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow,
Supergirl, World of Tomorrow. There is, comics is a big tent. There's comics for everybody. I think the compact editions have done such a great way of opening that door for the most casual person to give it a try.
All right, we got to wrap up PRH really quick, so I'm just going to jump ahead. I want to show off this beautiful Godtail cover on Venom. Venom 257 is going to be written by Charles Soule, the man who'd been writing Carnage, so expect some Carnage in there. And, of course, more chaos with everything in the Death Spiral storyline. And I just got to show it off because we're waiting for that Mandalorian Grogu movie, a little golden book on the Mando, We Are One. This is just got like everything I love about Star Wars on one image. We got Ahsoka, we got classic Luke, we've got Mando, Grogu, and Bo-Katan with the Dark Blade, Dark Saber.
Listen, Dark Saber, yeah. If you're trying to indoctrinate your children into Star Wars early on, this is an easy way to do it for sure. Especially as we wait for the movie.
All right. We are running long because we had a great interview. I really love that it was a great interview, but we ran along with it. So we had to hop over to Lunar. Let's see if we can shoot through this quick. So remember, lunardistribution.com, where you're going to see all these great DC items right here, including me searching Megalith #1 for a release date earlier. Scroll on down to upcoming FOC. Make sure you're on the right date, March 16th. That's this coming Monday. And woo, Absolute Green Lantern 13 coming out, along with the trade paperback and hardcover to catch you up to that point with Volume 2. Like, what are your thoughts on Absolute Green Lantern so far?
I love Absolute can't miss. You know, I know we're trying to be quick about this, but there is not an Absolute book that's out right now that isn't a 10/10 gold star. You know, Dean's List. They're all so good. I mean, who would have thought a Martian Manhunter book would be, you know, a top seller in last year? Like, just you can't miss with the Absolutes.
Absolutely. I mean, the only issue I have is that the trade paperback and hardcover are releasing on June 9th, and they get you right up to issue 13. So it's cool they're FOCing together. But, you know, issue 13, just a month out from now, the trade paperback, we got to wait a few months. Nevertheless, get your orders in, get caught up, because Absolute Green Lantern, it's my favorite of the second tier. I'm not going to say.
Is it really?
Absolute Martian Manhunter. It's Absolute Green Lantern for me.
Okay, I feel like Flash gets slept on a lot too, but again, I think they're all hits. Like there's if you go into a comic book shop, you pick up an Absolute book, you shouldn't be disappointed. There's such a fun take on all those classic characters.
And if any reason you can't, because let's face it, a lot of comic shops are selling out of the Absolutes. We have some new reprints from Absolute Superman issues 15 and 16, and Absolute Wonder Woman with that big Zatanna moment, and some beautiful Zatanna covers. So catch up.
Oh, that Mark Brooks variant. He was advertising that this week, and it looks so good.
Oh, yeah. A lot of great continuing series. I have been loving Action Comics with this reign of the Superboys going on across various titles. I like that we're going to have modern characters like Booster Gold, Martian Manhunter, not the Absolute one, and our Mary Marvel Shazam going back in time to Smallville, Kansas, when Superman was just a Superboy. We're also getting a lot of facsimiles, so take a look at the facsimiles when you get a chance this week. A lot of some amazing covers at Lunar this week. Some Archie covers and DC covers that just have my jaw on the floor. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to talk about. I know that Bleeding Hearts kicking butt with Dennis.
We have Fury of Firestorm this week. I mean, it's Jeff Lemire doing Firestorm. Are you kidding me? And then who is it? Rafael De La Torre is doing the interiors. That book is that's gonna be a sleeper for sure. I think people are gonna overlook that book, and it's gonna be disappointing because they're gonna have to circle back for it later on. But if you were looking for the sleeper DC book this week, it's definitely Fury of Firestorm. I love Jeff Lemire. That book's gonna be 10/10.
Yeah. I also want to point out, if you guys have been loving the Spawn variants, the Invincible variants, now it is Gert's turn. I Hate Fairyland's Gert is going to be on all of the various Image books with the I Hate team-ups, and in some cases dropping the F-bomb with there too. There's some great variants coming out on those this week you're going to want to talk about. But, of course, oh man, there you can see the less than socially acceptable statement right there of F team-ups covers on Die. Final issue of Disavowed, which I hope is not the final issue of the series. And then we get to Dork, the craziest thing in the industry right now, one of the hottest selling books, 4th printing of #1 before the 3rd printing even hits, and it's a wraparound cover by Brett Bean with all of our protagonists, along with a new blank, assuming you can even get the time from Brett to get a sketch, maybe more so, get somebody else to take their take on Dork and their wonderful cast. Issue #3 has a bevy of great covers and 2 100% unique covers for the I Hate Team-Ups Gert cover, because Brett Bean, remember, used to be the artist of I Hate Fairyland. So we've got Dork and Gert on an I Hate Team-Ups and Dork and Gert on a F Team-Ups cover.
little bit of not safe for work action there on that one.
Yeah, I love it. Hold on. Okay, before we get to Fury of Firestorm, because I'm trying to rush that because I want to talk about it.
Are we going in alphabetical order? I thought we were going by publisher.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no,
I thought we were going by publisher. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the flaw of Lunar. No, actually, I like it. I like that it's alphabetical. You know, I'll give credit. You know, because not everyone always knows their publishers. I used to have a quiz. I'd tell everyone, I'm like, all right, Red Sonja, Red Mother, and Red Wolf. You know, find those by publisher. Or I find those alphabetically.
Fair. Okay.
All right. New one. DB Andry and Tim Daniel, two powerhouse co-writers, are back on a new Oni book. Not Vault this time. They're over at Oni. Estuary, a ghost story, gives us a haunting new horror piece. Look, I think this has a lot of potential. It takes, as somebody who lives in California currently, it takes the interesting thing we often overlook, that classic El Camino Real of, missions all throughout the coast of California, and gives us a haunting horror paranormal twist to them. So a little bit of fun there. I don't want to spend too much time because we're limited, but you know what? We love religious horror. It is a thing. From The Nun onward, Exorcism and more. Now we get a good Spanish twist to it with a little bit of California history. Those coming out to San Diego Comic-Con, you're going to be right next to several of the missions, so this will be a cool book to pick up and give you context on them.
Also very cool to shout out El Camino Real. I used to live off of El Camino when I lived in California.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. This is the one we wanted to talk about. Let's do it proper.
Okay,
Fury of Firestorm.
I jumped the gun. I'm sorry, everyone. But again, we've got, I think it's Rafael De La Torre doing the interiors. You've got Jeff Lemire writing Firestorm. It's going to be weird. It's going to be awesome. I think this is going to be the sleeper book. I think people, we're going to underorder it, and then people are going to be like, hey, what about Firestorm? And it's like FOC. It was Monday, the 16th. So this is definitely probably, along with Event Horizon, my pick of the week. Firestorm is an awesome character. Jeff Lemire is, like, I don't know, he's got to be top 10 on my Mount Rushmore. So it's going to look good. It's going to feel good. It's going to be a great book.
I'm going to go so bold as to say this will be the new Absolute Martian Manhunter, because leading up to it, if you would have asked anyone, hey, do you think Martian Manhunter will be a hot book? Universally, I feel everyone would have said it's Martian Manhunter. No. And this is how I would have felt about Firestorm just about 3 months ago. Firestorm having a hot book? No, not going to happen.
Same thing with the Mr. Terrific Year One. Everybody slept on Mr. Terrific Year One and then circled back to it, and it was, you should have let us know by FOC, guys. So we knew that there would be a crowd for Mr. Terrific, which is, I mean, it's great. I love that the character is getting that much love. Again, Firestorm, like you said, Absolute Martian Manhunter, good comparison as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, and here's the other thing. What is the aftermarket on an Absolute Martian Manhunter first print #1 nowadays?
Crazy.
Yeah, it is insane. Everyone had the chance. No one would have thought that would have been the big book. I ordered big because it was an Absolute, and I knew that Absolutes were going good. And even I have sold out printing after printing after printing on this. This is an all-star team. As Billy said, it's Jeff Lemire. It's Rafael De La Torre. These are two forces to be reckoned with. Taking a character that is so easily overlooked, but has so much potential for being one of the best stories you could imagine reading. A 6-issue miniseries, I think, Billy had it right. It's going to be somewhere between the Mr. Terrific Year One and Absolute Martian Manhunter. And when we say that between those were all-star books that blew up the aftermarket, that everyone's buying in trade right now. Just don't miss it. Just don't miss it. A lot of great covers on that, too. More G.I. Joe fun and more silent missions, this time focusing on the Crimson Guard. Gabriel Hardman writing and drawing. Remember, this is one of the best storyboard artists in the industry. This is the man who brought us Green Lantern, Earth One, Star Wars Legacy. He is a super talented artist, a brilliant writer. And when you combine them together for a silent one-shot, I love that we've been getting writer-artist combos for these silent, missions.
I agree.
They know how to tell a story with just the art. But this is going to be, I hear you. This is I'm gonna get in trouble again. I don't even remember which GI Joe or which Cobra member Crimson Guard was.
So the Crimson Guard was not. It's not just a GI Joe, or it's not
Okay.
a Cobra. It's like a team of Cobras. So I'm very interested to see how they're going to handle that, because like last week we had, what was Baroness? It was on FOC
Baroness,
last week, right?
Joelle
Everybody knows
Joe.
Baroness. Yeah, and so that's incredible, right? And so I'm very interested to see how they tackle this. Dealing with the Crimson Guard. So I think it's going to be cool. I'm here for the silent missions for sure. Larry Hama set a precedent. When he did that. What was that? GI Joe 27, right?
21, I want to say.
21, 20 something.
21, 26, something like that.
Yeah. And so the paying homage to that in the year of our Lord 2026, pretty cool. So I'm here for it.
It's 21. It says it right there on screen. I'm
Oh, does it say right there? It's small for me.
Yeah.
There, okay.
Yeah. When GI Joe 21 introduced fans to silent entertainment. There we go. But no, I'm excited. I mean, and Gabriel Hardman, I love. He actually popped by Comics Pro very briefly. I think he was kind of on the download, but it was really nice seeing him again. Green Lantern Corps is back, perfectly timed after we've had a little bit of gap between issues, but with a new Green Lantern trailer, or rather the Lanterns trailer, currently blowing up social media. It'll be nice to get it back with, of course, John Stewart at the helm of the book, Morgan Hampton writing. I want this specific cover to be a scene in a James Gunn movie where John Stewart is just making Guy Gardner cry. But
what did Guy ever do to you?
Everything. He closed down Warriors. That's what it was.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's reasonable.
But just great covers across the board, and I'm excited to get back to it. I'm always going to be a Green Lantern fan. It's probably why I think all Absolute Green Lantern is one of my favorite of Tier 2. But yeah, this is going to be fun. And we get the return, I should point out, of Parallax. Yes, Parallax is going to possess John Stewart. So that'll be fun. Then we have the Hab. We talked about that for almost an hour. I'm excited about this book. I think Billy's excited about this book. This is going to be great. Joshua Dysart has got a murderer's row of brilliant artists in David Lapham, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Jacob Phillips. Go back and rewatch the interview if you missed it, or you just want to rewatch it again. This is going to be awesome, and a lot of great covers for an amazing book. One, I need to take a moment because I feel we just glanced over it when Sienna brought it up. The B covers, the lost text variants, will have exclusive content on the back of the cover. Exclusive prose written by Joshua that add context to the Hab you only get on these B covers. So it's like a bonus feature on the back of your comic.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the Hab, but I'm definitely going with the B cover because you want that additional content, right? That meat to the story for sure. So for me, I'm gonna go down on my subscription for the B cover. That's my recommendation for this for sure. Just so you get that extra back matter.
I really hate to say I'm going for all three open order covers because, dude, Charlie Adler, it looks like a Walking Dead cover.
It does. You know what? It also, and I didn't get to say this during the interview. For some reason, it has like a Why the Last Man vibe to it that I'm really excited about as well.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a cool book.
Absolutely. So a lot of great covers, some big ratio variants. You're going to want to reach out to your local comic shop to see if they're going to be able to get that or that crazy VHS. But talk to them. Just know they're probably not going to be, like cover price. You want to talk to your local comic shop and see what their rules are for the ratio variants.
VHS, it's like a 1 in 1,000 or a 1 in 2,000 or something.
I think it's a 1 in 250. Actually, they made it tangible, but in the same.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to spend a whole $5 at the thrift store for a VCR.
You can pick it up for like 50 cents.
Yeah. All right. One I have to point out just because it's been blowing up. We interviewed Kaylin Smith with House of Lothar #1. Another one where we're telling you what these hits are going to be. You just got to tell your local comic shop you want them. Final issue of House of Lothar, but I don't think it's going to be the final story in that universe. Actually, hold on. Space Minotaur? Space Minotaur? How is that a comic we're not ordering? What a weird concept. I don't know. Just I had to point it out. It's a great name for a comic, Space Minotaur.
I'm sorry, I got lost on eBay looking at VCR pricing.
Oh, I mean, you're just going to share all. You told us what light speed was in meters. You know, what's the eBay pricing for a VCR these days?
You know, right now we're looking for anywhere between, if you're looking for like an old, just a single head VCR, you're in that $30 range. If you're getting a little bit more advanced with something a little bit nicer, you know, towards the end of the VCR lifespan, you're looking at all the way up to $100. So,
Wow.
so it looks like the average range is we're like $40 for a decent VCR these days.
I mean, it's worth it if you can get a 1 in 250 VHS, I feel.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like you don't want to stick it in like an old dusty, you know, something you found at like a library fire sale. Like, you know, it deserves a little bit of a nice vehicle, if you will.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the VCR that's built into the TV.
Oh, there you go.
90s. All right, guys. Jade, also, just like it's the early 90s, Fred Perry is back. Yes, the man who brought us Gold Digger. Unfortunately, with Gold Digger over, I am still having that, you know, early 90s love of Fred Perry, and I'm excited that we're going to go back to one of his Cold Tales legacy for its big final chapter. I mean, this is like 80s, 90s action / anime to the most extreme. Fred Perry writing and drawing it. I'm sure there will be some mature extra content on his Patreon, as there tends to be. So if you want to have context on it, this is the book to order. 4-issue mini from Antarctic Press. I didn't think I'd be saying it, but I'm so ecstatic to have Antarctic Press back to where we can order it in our comic shops.
I agree. You know, I always miss publishers, like especially smaller publishers, when they disappear for a while, and I'm always pretty excited when they pop back up.
Yeah. Another one, Joseph Schmalke's Murder Hobo is back. So if you've ever been called the Murder Hobo in your role-playing game campaign, this is the book for you, because it takes that metaphor to a literal reality. Goofy, hilarious storytelling with amazing artwork by Ryan G. Brown. It is literally crazy homeless man who kills everything, because that's just the easiest way to get through life. It very much has that D&D, you know, vibe of orcs and elves and all that fantasy fun, while just being crazy drunken humor.
Is that the same Ryan Brown that did 8 Billion Genies and Curse Words, or is this a different Ryan Brown?
So art-wise, it leads me to believe that, but I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is. You know, like it. I mean, it looks amazing and it has that vibe, but I think it's I think it's very coincidental, oddly enough. You know, someone will tell me.
Maybe that's why the G is there, is to differentiate it. Yeah.
So another great manga worth paying attention to. Look, it just does not. I mean, and this actually is not a manga in traditional sense. This is a great title. My Best Friend is an Eldritch Horror. I mean, I've had a few that might fit that realm, but look, if your best friend gets to have tentacles and demonic magic that shifts the world around you into a darker, more depressing reality, it seems like a story worth reading.
This feels like something like Alan Moore was like drunkenly written on like a pub napkin in like the early 90s, and they somehow turned it into a manga. So I'm here for it.
It's Alan Moore doing a webtoon. That's what it feels.
There you go. Alan Moore doing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, no, very interesting one. I'm excited. Again, not a traditional manga. Obviously, with names like Actus and Sauerkraut, this definitely has that webtoon vibe to it. But I'm curious. I mean, it looks good. I'm gonna give it a shot. So, how many people missed out on Nectar despite us talking it all up?
Everybody, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Now's your second chance. Nectar is back with reprints, slight, tiny alterations to the cover, almost imperceptible. So please pay attention to that. But look, if you wanted to read this story, and let's be honest, I hope you want to read this story. I said it the first time we talked about this. I've been upset with some of the actions that Vault has, and it's completely overridden by how brilliant this story is. Nectar is amazing. It is going to hold my attention for the length of the miniseries. The idea of butterflies, which I've since learned do drink blood in real life. Thankfully, they just don't tend to cut you open and suck it out like a vampire. Going after people in a massive wave that is going to completely disrupt this small little early 20th century island off the coast of Maryland. It's an awesome book. There's a reason why the aftermarket has it at insane values, not just crazy speculation and, weird demand. It's a good book.
We actually we did something at Coliseum with Nectar. We were very excited for this book. We didn't want to sell out of it too quickly, and we didn't want people to miss out on the opportunity to read the story. So we actually sold the 4 issues as a bundle. And I think we still actually have the bundles available in a few of the stores. So you pay for the bundle, you get issue 1, and then as the issues come out 2, 3, 4, you're able to come in and pick those up as part of your package. So we still have some of those available, but if you missed out, definitely jump on the second print. It is such a fun book. It's it's blood drinking monarch butterflies. Like, what else do you need from a book?
Yeah. Well, I also love the characters in this are all great. I really, really enjoy all of the characters. So issue number 1, second printing, gets you fully set up, and issue number 2 alongside, so you can continue on with the story. I got to say, I love these Suspiria covers. The first one was phenomenal, very mature, mind you. I'm going to show you the second one. Thankfully, this is a censored version. You can pretty easily figure out what the uncensored version will look like. But Suspiria's artwork is just, she's up there with Tuolote. Like, it is amazing. All right. A lot of great continuing series, but we are well over time. We talked about The Machine and Ordained earlier. We have a brand new horror in the way of Pretty Hate Machine coming out from Ryan Onan and Tim Seeley, the most prolific writer in comics these days. This is a haunting new horror series that is kind of like a slasher meets paranormal high school murder. I Know What You Did Last Summer-esque tale. Let's see. We can rush through things. We have the penultimate issue of Rick and Morty in the end. For those of you who just cannot get off the Snyderverse, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Nemesis, now in trade paperback. Sirens, one of the greatest DC books coming out currently, halfway through with issue number 3 of Babstar and Teenie Howard's masterpiece. We've got more Space Ghost fun, more Spawn fun, more Supergirl fun with the start of, I believe this is the start of the new a new storyline with a cyborg. Sorry. Issue 11 was the start of the reign of Superboy's Supergirl. So this is part 2 with our cyborg Supergirl. Little hint of, pseudo absolute appearance there. And some great reprints. Oh, and there it is. We've been waiting for it. The crossover we've been waiting 40 years for. Thundercats, Silverhawks. The one shot that's going to start the big one. Thundercats, Silverhawks, Declan Shalvey writing and drawing it.
It's going to be beautiful. Like, I mean, if you're a kid from the 80s, that those action figures probably fought and teamed up a million times in your backyard, right? And so getting it in a comic in 2026, let's go. Like that's all you need.
Absolutely amazing stuff there. A lot of great covers, a lot, including new blind bags to get you all sorts of crazy, unique covers. This one is a weird one. For $19.84, obviously 1984, the year of the Thundercats, you get 3 comics in the blind bag. So 3 different options. I've been having a little bit of fun with it. Other than the release date timing, I've been having fun with the Dynamite blind bags. There's been some fun stuff, and I like getting multiple comics in a blind bag.
It's definitely an interesting take. We do have 19 covers on this one, if you include incentives.
Yeah, that's a lot. All right, Transformers fan, new origins and tales from Megatron. New story arc, The Secret of Megatron revealed. Like, look, it is the best of the Transformer characters. Decepticons, where it's at. So, Megatron, Robert Kirkman, great combo, new storyline. Don't miss out.
We're short on time. I'm going to let that one go because we're just going to have to let that one go. We'll
Did I screw it up? Did I say the wrong thing?
You said that definitely, yeah.
All right, we're short on time. White Sky, new printing, 3rd printing if you're missing out on this. Actually, we're at the point. We got to get to the top 5. We're 5 minutes over, man. Yeah, Billy, I appreciate it. You're going to have to come back on and, keep me in check more.
Oh, yeah. I'll next time I'll wear my badge, like my Coliseum badge.
Okay.
All
right.
Well.
let's talk about our top 5 for this week. Would you mind bringing those up? Good Mr. J. Mr. J. I feel like I'm
I'm
Harley
gonna have
Quinn
to do
doing it
some
that way.
finagling here for just a second.
All right. So this week I didn't do a top 10 because it was a shorter week and everything like that. There's no honorable mention. We cut straight to a top 5. And number 5, a lot of second printings on this week's list, is Absolute Wonder Woman 16, that brand new Mark Brooks cover. I mean, I think it caught both of us, caught our attention, right?
Oh yeah, he, like I said, he was talking about it on social media this week, and I was like, yep, that needs to go in my collection for sure.
Yeah. I own first printings. I'm going after the second printing for this cover.
You gotta.
Yeah. All right. Number 4, White Sky, third printing. It's a brand new cover on a white hot book. This has been an amazing one. I want to know what those things were at the end of issue number 1 that are haunting this girl. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it, because I get it. It's hard to get right now. The aftermarket is blowing up. So go ahead, reach out to your local comic shop. Don't miss out this time. Pre-order this cover. Get in on the White Sky love, and maybe we can all find out together what has just destroyed Earth in this book. Then number 3, I had to do that beautiful Ben Oliver cover of Storm.
That's amazing. Yeah. I always love the color bleeds when they do that with the covers. It's so good.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, we've been seeing a number of artists. David Nakayama seems to be making themes of each month with it. But Ben Oliver's negative space usage here, absolutely amazing. And then on top of that, again, I think people are sleeping on Storm, and this is not the book to be sleeping on, especially as we get more and more with Galacta. Yeah. Is it Galacta or Galactica?
I say Galactica.
Okay.
But I'm illiterate, so who knows? But 2009 was her first appearance, in case anybody was curious. We said 20 years. It's almost 20 years.
Yeah, I actually own Adam Warren's artwork from that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love the character. I just apparently can't remember her name or how to pronounce it. All right. Number 2, The Hab. We had the incredible Josh Dysart in there. We have an all-star cast of interior artists. We have Charlie Adler to The Walking Dead on the cover. This is going to haunt people.
If you love Why the Last Man, Walking Dead, or you hate billionaires, this is probably the book for you, easily.
I mean, we all hate billionaires, right? All right. Then here it is, the big number 1. Wraparound. I wish I could have had the wraparound on here, but a wraparound brand new cover on the hottest book of 2026. I would have never thought I'd get to say it that way. I mean, we had Brett on here when we first were doing FOC for the original Dork. I knew that he had something hot on his hands, but I don't think anyone, including him, could have predicted this. 4 printings, and each time Brett goes out of his way, he's not recoloring it. He's giving you a brand new cover. That means that people who already own the previous 3 printings are going to want this 4th printing.
He was, he was. I don't want to say cute, but he was, very anticipatory about how it would do, and I don't think he had any idea that it was going to be like the next book, like the next for real book that's out there. And I'm very, very happy for success. If you are not reading this book, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Absolutely. All right, those are the big hits this week. I want to remind everyone, reach out to your local comic shop, get your orders in. You make Billy's life a lot easier when he knows what you want to order at his shop, and vice versa, whoever your shop is. We know it's a wonderful shop, and they are going to be all the more wonderful and happier when you let them know what it is you want prior to FOC. Jay, what do we have on the EXP later this week?
Well, as most people might know, today is Friday the 13th. So it's 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Last month, when we had that weird Friday the 13th and Valentine's Day the next day, Nick did a $13 and $14 art show. He's bringing it back tonight with $13 art. 7 Eastern, 6 Central, folks. You're not going to want to miss it. I've seen some of the pieces. My goodness, I feel like Nick Barucci has lost his mind. Then after that, at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, you got Friday Night Live with Nancy McCann and the folks from Comics Unlimited.
All right. Sounds like a fun show. And then, of course, we'll be back next Friday. I'm going to see if I can drag Billy back with me next Friday to do this again. Seem like a possibility?
Oh, yeah. I love to hear. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Awesome. All right. So Get your orders out to your local comic shop. Make sure you take a look at everything on FOC. Go back and rewatch the interview with Josh Dysart and Siena Fallon, and then tune in next Friday for new interviews, more books on FOC, and some super crazy awesome science facts from Billy.
I'll have to line those up.
All right. Thank you guys all for watching, and we'll see you next week.